Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to make a video on the new Bass Pro Shops US Open tournament that they're putting out. Uh, they just released this about a month ago, I'd say, and it's pretty huge. It's pretty big. A lot of controversy around this. If you guys don't really follow any of that stuff, um, maybe I'll do a video on all that as well. But I figured I'd go over the details of this tournament first, so you can know if you're eligible to enter and what you can win besides $1 million. That's the grand prize right now. All right, so let's go. I'm going to walk you through the website. So you know exactly where to go to and where to find all the information that you would need before you enter the tournament. So the first thing you want to do is let's go over to the Bass Pro website. When you get to the Bass Pro website, if you look at the very, very top, it says Bass Pro Shop US Open. Click on that and it'll bring you over to the official US Open page. So if you go on here, I mean, the website's pretty easy to go through. First thing you see, Bass Pro Shops US Open National Bass Fishing Amateur Team Championship presented by Toyota. Benefiting conservation. They got that in here a lot. Just letting you know. So if you scroll down, you can see a little video that they made. Nothing special in that. This is interesting. The final day, the final tournament, which is on Table Rock, is going to be broadcast live on NBC. So scrolling down, and you got $1 million grand prize. Benefiting conservation again. 8 qualifying events, a national championship, and multiple payout opportunities, which we'll go over those payout opportunities. Just for amateurs. But it's not only just for amateurs. If you scroll down here, exclusively for the owners of the world's foremost boat brands, which is anything that falls under the White River Marine Group umbrella, which is shown here as Tracker, Ranger, Nitro, Triton, Mako, Sun Tracker, and Tahoe. Interesting to see someone out there in a Tahoe or a Sun Tracker, but even a Mako. Only the people who own one of those boats will be able to fish in this tournament. If you go to the tournament tab, it'll bring you here. That'll show you all the different breakdowns of the tournament. So obviously this is just showing you how many people are going to be competing in the final championship tournament, which will be 350 teams over these 3 divisions, which is that 8 national qualifiers was the majority of people are going to go through. The boat dealer team trails, which I'll show you those. I'm not really familiar with any of them. And I follow a lot of this stuff, but I'm not really familiar with that stuff. And the collegiate tournaments. So all these teams advance into the championship that's going to be on Table Rock Lake, and they're going to compete for, $1 million prize. 350 teams, so that's 350 boats of 2-man teams, which seems like a lot. I mean, Table Rock's a huge lake. Like you get this Big Bass Tour that they do on Table Rock. 3-day tournament. Whoever catches the biggest bass in that 3 days gets a Z19. That tournament brings in like thousands of boats. Just like the Big Bass Bash on Lake of the Ozarks or Grand Lake, you're looking at thousands of boats on that lake. Thousands. So on Table Rock, 350 boats. It's a lot, but it's not too much. So as I scroll down, and then you start getting into what are the qualifying tournaments. Okay. The registration for this is already closed, okay? But they only open up for that day, the day that they do it. So February 17th, you have 24 hours that day to sign up for that. I think it began at 10 o'clock too in the morning. So 10 o'clock, February 17th, registration opened, and you can log in and pay the entry fee, which we'll get onto that here in a little bit. And hopefully you're one of the, 250 boats, I think? I think it was 250 boats to get in here. Alrighty, so May 12th, registration opens up for Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, and Lake St. Clair, Michigan, and those tournaments will be on July 17th and August 21st. July 14th, which is where I will be. September 11th is going to be for the Old Hickory Lake, Tennessee, and October 16th, which is where I'm going to be at for Grand Lake, Oklahoma. Last chance qualifier. So anybody who cannot did not get into that first cut, first entry for the two qualifiers will be able to try to get into the last chance qualifier. And then at the end of it, they're going to do all of the 316 teams. If you made a top 40 placement in one of the qualifiers, you're going to go to the championship tournament on November 19th through 21st on Table Rock Lake in Missouri. Really good lake, really good time to fish that lake. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with these dealer trails. You can sort by state and even country. This is pretty interesting. They got Spain, Japan, Romania, Mexico, and Holland in this as well. So, all right, let's go to the rules. Alrighty, on the rules. To register, you must meet the following requirements. You must be an amateur, and an amateur is someone who has not competed as a boater/pro in an MLF Major or Bass Elite Series event within the last 2 years, immediately preceding the BPO event being entered. So pretty much, if you were a pro, if you fished MLF Major or the Bass Elite Series, you can't do this if you fished it within the last 2 years. They did not mention FLW because FLW is now under MLF. So if you were an FLW pro, you're probably not watching my channel. All right, anglers that have not paid an entry fee greater than $2,500 and anglers that do not have a lifetime earning greater than $100,000. Now, this has got a lot of people on the fence. I talked to someone the other day at the boat ramp, and he was like, "I'm kind of worried. I want to do it, but I'm kind of worried that I might hit that, that border." I wish I had that problem, but I don't. From a lot of these podcasts that I listen to, and some of the pros that have been out there talking about this, the lifetime earnings, 100,000 lifetime earnings, that's a lifetime. Like if you went to the Big Bass Bash and they cut you a check for $100,000 because you won the biggest bass, you caught the biggest bass in that tournament, you are disqualified. It's 100,000, pay out 100,000. So if you won two $50,000 tournaments, you can't do it. Whatever you take all your tournament winnings, whatever that check said, add all those up. If it reaches 100,000, you're out. I do not have that problem. I bet a lot of us don't have that problem. So that's good. Then at least one member in the registered team needs to have one of the world-class boat brands: Tracker, Ranger, Nitro, Mako, Sun Tracker, Triton, or and a Tahoe. I don't know if it's going to help them with boat sales or not. I don't really see it. I don't really see people going out trying to buy a brand new Ranger or Nitro or a Tracker, to get into one of these tournaments. All right, then the rules. Something to keep in mind is if you fish the tournament and you guys qualify for the championship, you and your partner, you got to have that same partner. That same partner has to be with you during the championship. And it says here in rule number 4, no substitutions of team members will be allowed. Number 6, pretty important rule as well here. Pre-tournament practice. All qualifying tournaments have a 3-day off limits period, which consists of the Monday through Wednesday prior to the tournament. The Thursday and Friday prior to each regular season tournament will be considered official practice days. So if your tournament is on the Saturday and Sunday of that week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you cannot fish on that lake. You're only allowed to pre-fish Thursday and Friday, the 2 days before the tournament. The Thursday and Friday prior to each regular season tournament will be considered official practice days. No participant may be on designated tournament waters for any reason during the official off-limit periods. This includes walking the shoreline, marinas, boat docks, etc., for the purpose of locating or catching fish. That's pretty good. It's a pretty strict one right there too, because a lot of us, when we travel to these tournaments, we get there plenty of time before. So I would get there Wednesday, put my boat in the water. I could do that. I could be on the water because I'm not out there looking or locating for fish, but I couldn't get my boat in the water, turn on my Garmin, and then start side scanning on my way to the boat slip. Can't do that. All right, rule number 7, registrations. All registrations will be accepted until 10 a.m. Central Time on the cutoff date published at, and it shows right there, which I just showed it to you prior to that. At the time, all teams will be placed into a drawing from which 250 teams will be randomly selected. What? Rule number 7 is like a really weird one. It says all registrations will be accepted until 10 a.m. Central Time on the cutoff date published at right there, which is the page that I just showed you. At that time, all teams will be placed into a drawing from which 250 of those teams will be randomly selected, approved, and payment processed. 250 teams will be considered a full field for all qualifying tournaments. Those sponsors reserve the right to add additional teams at its discretion. That's crazy, I think. So you could be the very first person, like, I'm ready. Boom, I signed up. Here's my money. Here's my $900. Just so you know, $900 that one person in the team's got to pay for both of you. And you might not even get in. They're going to randomly select it. You're going to be put into a drawing. It's kind of heartbreaking for those that been planning this for a while. So, but I mean, I guess if you're not a part of that 250 teams, then you get pushed into that last tournament in November that's on Bull Shoals. But we'll see how that goes. That's a weird one too, because it says the sponsors reserve the right to add additional teams at its discretion. So if these people want to add some money into the pool, they're going to put who they want in there. Which, I mean, if you got a sponsor that's going to be like, hey, Johnny, my guy's fishing this tournament at 251 or boot 250, I'll often put my guy in. Maybe he shouldn't be fishing. Maybe it's not so amateur after all, right? Media coverage. They're going to have someone in your boat. They're right here is pretty much saying, hey, we're going to take pictures of you. We're going to take videos. And if we want to put someone in your boat with a camera, we can. Anything else? Any crazy things in here? No. A lot of these rules are the same as any other tournament, except for this number 7. All right, number 7 is a little different one. It's more like a gamble than a registration. So you go to register. Must meet these requirements. We already did that. With registration, all right, it's going to tell you which one's the next one coming up for the qualifying events. But down here, you can see we got price now. $450 per person for 18 and older. 12 to 17 is $250. Kids 12 and under free. So if you and your buddy who are over 18 years old want to fish this, that's $900 to fish this tournament. If you and your 12-year-old son or daughter want to fish this, it'll be $700. If you have a child that's under 12 that you want to bring on the boat and fish with you as your partner, then you're only paying $450. All right, it's expensive. All right, prizes. Let's go to the prizes, because that's the one that most people want to see. Prizes. What am I going to win? Tournament prizes. They're going to give over $4 million in cash and prizes. If you break the largemouth bass state record, $1 million cash.
Dang.
If you break the largemouth bass state record, you get $1 million. I mean, that's a crazy chance to do that, especially in some of these lakes. All right, prizes at each regional qualifier. Each angler who competes in a regional qualifier will receive a U.S. Open gift bag for each team member with exclusive goods valued at $150. So each of you are getting a $150 bag with a bunch of goodies in it, which is good because you're paying $450 a piece. $900 total to fish this tournament. So it's good you get a little something back. The qualifying event that you can fish, which you can only fish one of. If you win a qualifier, you get $50,000. And they pay out to 40 places. So the top 40 get paid. First place gets $50,000. Biggest bass from each qualifier goes into a drawing for a Z19. So that's pretty good. All right, championship. So here we go. If you made it through all that stuff, you were in the top 40, you got to the championship. What do you win at Table Rock Lake? If you make it there, each person gets a $250 bag, gift bag. So right now, if you went to the qualifier and you went to the championship, that's what, $400 right there of stuff, which means you've got back $40. So you're only paying $50 to fish this tournament. That's if you make it to the championship. I know I probably, for every tournament that I fish, I'd probably pay a couple $100 to fish that tournament, and then I'd probably pay another couple $100 for gear for that tournament. The champion team in the championship will win $1 million cash payout. So that's $1 million for $500,000 apiece. And each member of that team wins a Toyota Tundra and a Z20. That's what that is. So pretty awesome. The biggest bass at that championship wins the Z20. So I'm curious if you're the championship team and you got big bass, if you get 2 Z20s. That'd be interesting. So that's pretty good. $1 million. You get $1 million if you win, you and your partner. So that's $500,000 a piece, and a new truck and a new boat. That is a huge deal. Plus, I mean, you're getting $250 worth of gear for being at the championship, and $150 for the qualifier just for doing that. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna go to the frequently asked questions, the Q&A down here. All right, and I'm gonna scroll down to, why is there a drawing for each qualifier? Now, the reason I'm coming to this little section and not all the other stuff is because all the other stuff I kind of went over. This I'm curious about, because I've read these rules a bunch right when this was first put out, and I do not remember reading about a drawing to be able to enter the tournament. That drawing thing is sticking out to me pretty hard. I don't remember that. I'm gonna have to ask some of my buddies if they remember it either. Because we've been talking, and we're like, all right, 10 o'clock, the day of registration, be ready with a credit card in hand, and I'm ready. I'm ready to press that button. I'm ready to press it so I'll be one of the first 250 people. No, it don't matter. It don't matter. As long as you register within that first 24 hours, I mean, it's a gambling game. It's like opening a loot box in a video game. You don't know what you're going to get. Maybe you'll get what you want, maybe not. But here it says, due to anticipated high demand, boat owners can only register for one qualifying event, which this is what it said the first time. With all entrants placed in an independently verified drawing to determine the 250 teams eligible for each event. That line was not in here when they first announced this. It was not. And if it was, then I blocked that out of my mind. Because I'm telling you, I read this thing a bunch, and I do not remember that. I do know that you were only allowed to register for one qualifying event. That I was well aware of that. And then it says here, individuals who do not receive a slot in the regional qualifiers can register for the last chance qualifier on bull shoals, which is what I was talking about. If you didn't get into that 250 team field, you would get a chance to do the last chance qualifier on bull shoals. But I wonder if they're going to do, one of these drawings for that as well. It doesn't say anywhere on here. So is it going to be worth doing? Yes, I think it is. It's good, especially if you're eligible to enter. You have one of the White River Marine Group boats. You haven't won over $100,000 in tournaments, and you've not paid within the last 2 years a $2,500 entry fee. The drawing thing bothers me, and the fact that a sponsor can add teams in, that bothers me too. I mean, a lot of us are looking forward to this, and if you get bumped out because of a drawing to fish it, or you get bumped out because a sponsor put someone else in your spot. I mean, it's kind of disappointing, but we'll see how it goes. The first tournaments haven't gone yet, so I'm keeping an eye on that, see how that plays out. I've been building a podcast website, so I'm going to be making podcasts and putting them out there. I like listening to podcasts when I drive to the lake in the morning. Kind of gets me pumped up for fishing, or even while I'm out on the lake. I like turning on this little speaker, just listening to podcasts. So more the merrier. Some people might not agree with that, but it's all right. Hope this video was informative for you and answer some of the questions you might have had on this tournament. If you do have any questions, maybe it's something I didn't go over, or you're just kind of curious about, drop a question in the comments, and I'll do some research on it if I don't know the answer, and I'll try to get back to you. But I appreciate everybody tuning into the videos. I appreciate all the support, and see you next time.